Okay, welcome back. This is Boomerang Trading Part 2, and I'm going to continue from the Part 1. I want to keep these videos concise so you can go over and review them easily and not have too lengthy of a video to have to go back through. So this is Part 2, and we're going to race right through here over the next 4 sessions, which were the most volatile sessions seen in the U.S. stock markets in many, many years, culminating in Friday, the 21st of August, with a 500 plus point sell off in the markets. Just insane volatility. You'll have to read about what happened there, but it just had a lot to do with Chinese currency devaluation, Korean war, sable rattling, all kinds of crazy stuff, all culminating at once. But the point is, Boomerang Day Trader made steady winning 80 to 90% winning trades during this whole period. I'm going to wrap it up right now, going through the last 4 sessions leading up to the radical 500 Dow day loss, 500 points plus loss on the Dow. And we're trading the mini NASDAQ. That's the example I'm showing you. I consider to be the best contract to trade with Boomerang. And again, the next 4 days, you're going to see extreme volatility. We're not adjusting Boomerang. We're not changing the rules. We're not trying to look for bigger runners or anything, although those will be there. We're just following the simple rules, keeping our head on straight, and just going to work every day, following the exact same rules as a blue-collar working trader and making money in the markets. That's all we care about. We sit at the desk and we wait for the exact Boomerang proven setups so that we don't take an extraordinary amount of risk in the market. When we get the setup we need, we reach up here to the buy or the sell at the market button, nail the contract. It'll put out a bracket order and bracket in your stop and your exit. It's very exciting and a lot of fun. So, getting started where we left off, here we are, mid-morning on the 17th of August. Yow, busy time period. The volatility is kicking in. The next 4 days are extremely volatile. In fact, I can tell you right now, I've got it right in front of me here. On the 17th, the Dow on this day ended up plus 67 points. The next day was down 33. And then Wednesday was down 162. Thursday got hit for another 300 plus points. And then Friday got slaughtered down 5 points. So the next particularly 2 days that I'm going to show you are a little bit tame. But as we roll into the third, fourth, and fifth session, you're going to see a lot more volatility kick in. So these are going to be a little more like normal type Boomerang days. So we got this last winner here as the prices moved up here with the crossover occurred up here and the prices jammed to the upside. And again, don't forget we have bi-weekly free training classes. Even if you don't own Boomerang, are leasing Boomerang from eSignal now, you can still attend the webinars and learn all about it before you start your lease. So here we go. Now again on the crossover, you've watched part 1, so you know how to trade with Boomerang. I'll go over the detailed rules, but I'm going to speed up a little so this video doesn't get too long. No trade here. There is a crossover here, but notice how the prices shoot straight down, and there's no correct stacking sequence to take a trade here. A lot of whipsaw, no buy trade here, and no second level trade. Why is that? Because you can see when they opened up the second level side here, prices were whipsawing, continue to whipsaw. This one came here, 48.5 down to 43, a 5-point whipsaw candle. Yet just Boomerang loudly telling you stand aside. That's one of the reasons we use 450 ticks. I can measure the volatility by the length of the tick candle. Here's a new buy channel forming. No buy here. Why is that? That's right, we don't have a matching dynamic trend band. Number 2, it's still the bearish color, the magenta color, nor do we have a crossover of the dynamic trend band number 1, or is it trading within a point and a half until it gets right to this level here, but it's too late and prices take off. That's okay. We got all day long we can wait for the next correct setup. So prices take up here, take a break, go get a juice or something or a coffee, little water, come back and let's see what happens next. Well, here comes the radical whipsaw again. I told you it was all building up. The Chinese had deflated their currency. It caused a big stir in the market. Everybody's nervous, but lots of volume because I don't know, everybody feels they got to come in and have a position or something. So nothing in here either. Nothing to sell with all the whipsaw and the flat dynamic trend band number 2. You remember from earlier in the manual, that's one of the rules here. I'll show you right now. Again, on this PDF, you can see this on the eSignal K page, or you can go and send me an email and I'll send you a copy at mohan@daytradersaction.com. Do not take trades when the dynamic trend band number 2 is flat. This occurs in choppy, whipsaw, range-bound type periods of the market. Wait for the next trade setup to open, which causes DTB to slope in that direction. Okay, again, you can order this from me, no problem. Glad to show you. Here's the market here, kicking up. Look at that. All the trend bands are matching here, and it's a nice, tight, compacted configuration here. See that? Pull back the sig line occurs around 62.5, and they shoot up immediately to 64.75. Not quite making it. Little bit of a pullback against the entry, and then 62.5 finally shoots up to 68, and you get your 3 points. Once again, a crossover here, tight dynamic trend bands, but the market just drops off in radical whipsaw volatility. Let's see what the spread is here. 66.5, 67. Oh, okay. Well, what happened here? Look at this. This is a little tricky. Here's the new sell channel opening. The spread at that time of the sell channel opening was 66.50 to 67.50 to 75, easily within a point and a half. And if you saw this and got this pullback the signal line, you had an instant drop in the market there. You might have caught that, you may not have. Odds favor probably about 60% chance you would have missed that. Don't worry about it, but this one's no good here because with this strong drop off, you can turn your head to the left. You can see it immediately formed a wide fat channel here. We're not going to trade that. They pull back lower again here. A radical whipsaw. Look at this candle here. My goodness. Let's measure that one up. 51.5 to 60.5. 9-point whipsaw candle. I mean, 3 points is radical. 4 points is nuts. 9-point candle here. This is a market out of control and insane. You want to stand aside. This is pre-market. I'm just showing you here what it's looking like on the pre-market after that last day settled. I want to see, it's kind of giving you hints about the upcoming day. So look at this here. Now we're coming into the opening here at 6:30. This is a West Coast chart, so it'd be 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And once again, radical whipsaw here to the downside. Nothing to do. I mean, you could have seen by the time everything was matching, they just fell right off the wagon. So don't even worry about these trades. Again, I remember this session, was trading it myself like I do every day, and you just got this radical whipsaw market coming in here. I just stand aside when I see this. I don't even think about trying to figure it out. I just wait for a smoother trade to set up. Here they go again, just before there's any tightness of the spread or anything, they're just dropping right off. This is Boomerang telling you, be careful, stand aside, look out. Now even here, it happened so quick and the whipsaw was so fast and furious, you didn't get the matching dynamic trend band to match up with the Cobra and the DTB number 2 before they shot up. No trade. No trade here. This is a third level radical kind of up move. Nothing to do here, but let's see what we got here. Look at this. Here's a nice tight spread. Change the DTB. You might have caught this pullback here to the sig line, but again, it's very fast and furious market. Don't worry about it. Just let it happen. Stand aside. Same thing here. Now finally right here you've got matching dynamic trend. This is very rare. I trade every day. So here's the dynamic trend bands finally matching, but the market's trading so fast, just falling right off before you even get a match. So no trade. Whipsaw, whipsaw down here. Look at here. Whipsaw back up. No trade up here at the top of the fat channel. It's not boomerang, it's the markets. In normal markets, you're going to see things move very smooth. Whipsaw up, radical, fast market conditions pulling them back, pulling them down. They continue to whipsaw. We're getting close to the close here. No trades here. You'd have been standing aside most likely an hour before with all that whipsaw. Who needs it? Okay, scrolling forward here. I'm trying to speed them up so we can get into the final. Here's the opening period here. Just slammed to the downside. This is when the market started telling everybody something was wrong. I remember this. I'm going, man, they just can't catch a break here. And it ended up being what happened on Friday, the 21st. Just a powerful slam to the downside. Unprecedented. Again, another move here, nothing going. You don't have a pullback to sig line with everything matching. You got to wait. Now here's a crossover, finally, with a decent stacking sequence. You got the dynamic trend band squishing together here, a pullback to the sig line. A little bit of a risky trade here, but 850 jumps up to 1150. So just barely squeezes out 3 points there, and then they flop back lower. Again, drop lower and a spike back to the upside, because once that crossover occurs, the tendency is going to lean on the bias in the direction of the crossover. Spike up, radical spike up. This trade here ended up working out for 3 points, but it's not a valid trade because the radical 3 candle spike up rule, too much risk. You got to wait. So they top out up here. They cross over, nothing to do until we get a spread on the dynamic trend bands tightening up here. We got a buy channel as they're tightening. Now they're crossing over a new sell channel, so you're permissioned because they've already crossed over. You don't need this to change color here. You just need them to cross over. Pull back sig line around 17.75 to 18, and they come straight down here for a 3-point move. Big move to the downside. A second level move that fails to really change the nature of the dynamic trend band. So as soon as there's a second level trade here shown right on this arrow here, new sell channel, everything's matching. You immediately take that pullback sig line and they shoot lower. Here's a third level trade, although it panned out nicely, not permissioned. We don't take third level trades, we just avoid them. Here's the dynamic trend bands crossing over, a pullback to the sig line at 91.50, and they shoot up to 96.5. Nice trade. Here's a classic example of a sell channel against a brand new crossover, a failure of the sell channel to get anywhere, even with a couple of the prints on the signal line. A new buy channel. The market shoots up here, a pullback to the signal line at 99.5, and they shoot up to 45.05 quarter. Nice move there. Same here, a radical crossover occurring, and this could be seen as a boomerang trade here because there is that tight spread. Everything's crossing over on this flat dynamic trend band here, but because the prices shoot down like this, you would want to project. And this can be done on occasion. On occasion, we can use this rule. When this happens, because it's a radical move down, but it didn't create a gigantic fat channel like, say, up here, you can trade a pullback to the Cobra, which is right here at 8.75, and they pull back lower down to 3 even. See how that works? If it's not a huge fat channel, you may not want to trade right at the. You can trade here, but you're better off just telling yourself, just try to get a discount, which you could have got a nice discount on that trade. Here, all the trend bands are matching color by a pullback signal line, and up they go. Again, Nothing here, even though they're matching. Again, it's a small move down here lower. So no trade at this signal line here. And they jam back higher. Now, if you see the crossover and the matching colors, you might have traded a pullback to the Cobra here. And if so, let me show you what would happen. This would have not been invalid. If you see these crossing, now they're tight, now they're matching colors, and you say, well, I'm going to either trade at 45.15 or maybe at the Cobra at 45.15 half. Well, 15 half shot up to 20. You're stopped out in this trade, one of the rare stop outs, but immediately the market sees all the trend bands matching, a new channel, a pullback signal line, and you got a winning trade right back to back with that loss trade, bringing most of the gains back to you. Again, dynamic trend bands very tight here. Cobra, or the dynamic trend band number 1, changing color with a tight crossover. Trade the pullback to the signal line right here, 43.60 or 43 half, and down they go. Second, again, classic in this super volatile period. We're coming into the final hour, final hour and a half, so this is a good trade. Look at this. There's your winning trade there. You have to see the arrow print for a counter buy channel. You don't have to necessarily see a dot print on the signal line, but a counter arrow, and that permissions you're not going to take that trade, but that permissions that if you get a second counter sell signal, that sets up a second level sell. And these are one of the most reliable signals we have. They're all great, reliable for 80-90% winners, but these are beautiful. You've already got a trend. You've got a failure of an up attempt. Now a new sell channel. All that force on that is just mounting, and you get short right here. In this case at 38 half, and they shoot right down. In fact, made an insanely radical move. This is that selling volume coming in. Market was shocked by this, and in the final hour they make a radical whipsaw attempt to ramp back up. And I remember this day, 10 minutes before the close, after a real choppy attempt to run up, look what happened. They just got slaughtered back down lower into the final close. And then going into Globex, look at that. Just slaughtered into Globex. Yikes. Okay, so we're coming now. This is the 20th. This is Thursday, the day before the 500 some Dow loss on Friday. So here we come into the opening here at 6:30. Notice how I'm showing you exact Boomerang setups, not changing any of the rules, and I'm not avoiding the radical volatility. I'm showing you how Boomerang operated in the most radical volatility. So if you're looking at this video, and it's now been a few months since this period, you'll see how honest we are here at Boomerang Day Trader. And you'll also appreciate I'm showing the most volatile period rather than scrolling back 3-4 weeks and finding more tame periods. I don't care. It works the same. You just have to know the rules. You may have to stand aside more if the whipsaw is intense, but that's no big deal. We're all mature adults, right? We can do that. Okay, so here comes the opening. Try not to usually trade the first at least 5-10 minutes of the opening. Give it 10-15 minutes in most cases, and watch the market here. This is obviously a second level trade here. I can cite this trade just for educational purposes. There's a fast drop here. A buy channel opens that failed here. A sell channel opens, a pullback signal line with all the trend bands matching. There's your first swing trade there from 68.75 going straight down to 62, dropping 6 points like a stone. Here's everything. Here's the Cobra crossing over the steep dynamic trend bands, so you're just watching for everything to stabilize. There's the dynamic trend bands crossing over, so you're pretty excited thinking, okay, we get a winning trade here, but the market just shoots off like a rocket ship to the moon before anything gets a pullback signal, and it gets it way up here at the top of the fat channel. Now, in some cases, and again, you'll get good at Boomerang and you'll understand this. If you're brand new, you won't understand it completely, but you can hear what I'm saying. Once you get really, really good at trading with Boomerang, you'll understand this. When you see a brand new crossover like this after a heavy downside hammering, you can always look to trade that pullback to the Cobra right here, this green line. And notice how it just held that exactly and shot straight up. A lot of times, and with experience, don't do it when you're starting out. Just get real good at the exact setups. This is an authorized setup, but you got to get real good at Boomerang, get a little more feel for the market. You'll know when to buy that pullback to the Cobra. Here they are crossing over, a new sell channel coming in. Now the spread right here, again, I want to focus that the dynamic trend bands have to match color, have crossed over on that side of the same side as the buy or sell channel you're in. And if not, the third rule is as long as there's a point and a half or less spread between the dynamic trend bands, you can take that trade. Now here's a classic example of that. Notice at 78.75 on dynamic trend band number 1, and when I pull it down to trend band number 2, 77.75. So it's only a 1 point spread there. That tells you go ahead and trade right here at the signal line or right here, no problem. Right here at the signal line is the one that you would have wanted to take, or maybe when they sprung up a little you could have traded them, but right here, and immediate gratification on the downside, no pressure on the stop as the market falls off the wagon. Now you're waiting for the next trade. Well, what happens? You get a counter buy channel that fails, a sell channel, whipsaws kicking in, a counter buy, you're still got your eye out for a second level trade. Why is that? Because you got that steep dynamic trend band there. So this actually was a rare occurrence, and again, the day before, this was a down $300 day. You actually had two counter buy channels, but when that third one kicks in, trade that pullback signal line, and they get smashed to the downside. If you got in here after they already got smashed, you're taking a higher risk. On this one, you'd want to trade a pullback to the Cobra, or if you just got in and you're kind of stuck in the trade, 61 ran 63, so it held the stop, no big deal, and it held the trade channel. You can see that. That's why we have these colored trade channels. So you were okay if you accidentally got in here. The better trade would have been a pullback to the Cobra, no big deal. Coming down here, steep dynamic trend band still, forget all this. There's no trade here, even though we got a crossover. Look at that market is just so willing to fall off the wagon here. It's scary, you know. It's just so willing to fall off the wagon. Now here's all the dynamic trend bands matching again. You can trade that pullback there and take them down 3 points again. Now this is a the reason this one was okay to sell here, you got to understand, although it was a steep DTB and everything, there was a crossover of the dynamic trend band number 1, which basically resets the chart pattern. That's part of Boomerang. Everyone who's been trading with Boomerang, we've had people trade with Boomerang for 5-6 years, long time. Everyone knows that's a reset of the chart pattern. So when they go back and they're all matching colors on the trend bands again, that's another short for you. Boom, short them there again. Now you're into, this is actually a second level short because of the reset crossover. You with me? It's important to understand that. And again, you make a note of that, or you'll learn it over time. You'll hear me repeat it. Same simple rules with Boomerang, nothing new. New sell channel, all trend bands matching, second level trade. Down they go, and you got your 3 points. Maybe you said, wow, this is radical, and you held for 5 or more, whatever. But look at that. Even if you held for 10, it just got wiped out. So again, it's only mid-morning and the market's going nuts. Here's your crossover, but the market's whipsawing off that lower move, which they often do. A lot of times when you get a big radical move, be prepared to watch for whipsaw. Don't be so anxious to get right into a counter trade because they may whipsaw. What I do when you see whipsaw coming off a large move is I wait for the second level buy setup. I don't take the first one. Here's the first one, and it was radical and it ended up being a winner, but you had to go through some real volatility. If you waited for the second one, it shows up here and price just shot up. So this one would have been a trade you probably wouldn't want to take because it's too much volatility. You know, you could have possibly traded a pullback to Cobra, but I just, again, don't want to change the rules. Don't want to fudge on the rules much. But you might have perceived this was the first one. But when you look back and see that this crossover ended up being successful, then you just want to be real careful going forward and just let the market whipsaw around. Be real willing to stand aside, especially I think at this point the Dow was down substantially, 200 points or whatever. So they're trying to crawl back higher here in a sort of Elliott wave, 1, 2, 3, fourth wave, and then an up move here. Well, sure enough, here comes the new sell channel. Here comes the crossover. And again, because it didn't form a radical fat channel here. A fat channel is more like this. See, just a minor one, fast move lower. Just trade that pullback to the Cobra, which is right here at 37 even. 37 shot up to 40, kind of a scary whipsaw move. But sure enough, they held the dynamic trend band number 2. Amazing how these trend bands, isn't it? And they just started sinking lower again. Down they go. So you've had a lot of winning trades on this day, one of the most radical days in the history of the market. What to speak of what's coming up the next session we're going to do here. And I'm almost done. Boy, what a day. I'll tell you, it makes me tired just watching. It's so radical. What to speak when you're in there live and they're flying all over. It's heavy. Here they are. Again, just when you think you're going to get it set up, they shoot higher. No trade. No trade. So here we are watching for matching trend bands and crossover. Here's the dynamic trend bands matching right here. Go short at the market here, 23 quarter. Boom, down they go instantly. Again, classic. You're already seeing this now. It's classic boomerang setup. Counter buy channel trying to fight this down move that fails. New buy arrow. You got to have that buy arrow to get the counter sell one. No crossover of the DTBs. No change in the color of DTB number 2. Counter sell, get ready to sell, and they shoot right to the downside, erasing this sell here. Now once again, if you were brave and gutsy and you were experienced in boomerang, you might have traded a pullback to the Cobra, which was the exact area you wanted to get short as they slammed them down further. But usually these, you're going to avoid this trade. If you're going to try to trade it, you're going to say Dow's down $250. I want to get on that short side. Then don't take them here. Get a discount, trade them to the Cobra up here. You'll learn all this stuff. You attend a few of my boomerang trading sessions. There's some recorded sessions on there now that are just great. You can learn them right there, and this will help you. Once again, it's not boomerang's fault. It's the markets. They're in radical whipsaw mode, but here you got a crossover. You got a buy channel, and you did indeed have a chance to buy the pullback to the sig line right here if you were fast. They shot straight up. Same thing here, a counter move that fails. Now in this case, you see the dynamic trend band did cross over here. It's just because of the radical whipsaw nature of the market. With those 3 or 4 winners we've had so far, you probably would have want to stand aside today. No shame in that. Hey, you're no big Rambo or whatever if you go in there and get shot up. Rambo's only good if he's alive. If he gets, slaughtered and shot up, then he's not going to be as effective. So just, again, whipsaw here, everything's, and then once again, the dynamic trend bands cross over here. They tried to make a counter move. This move actually wasn't powerful enough to get the DTBs to cross over. Notice that they're merging here. Now you got a sell move here, reinforcing this first downside attempt. Going to be a powerful move. So on a couple candles shooting down, trade that pullback sig line, and down they go. Coming into last 2 hours of trading. Classic case here again. Heavy down market, counter buy channel that fails to change a crossover or change the color of the DTB number 1. New sell channel, trade the pullback sig line. Down they go. As I mentioned earlier, these are some of the easiest and best trades, these second level trades. As I mentioned also, big whipsaw coming off the downside move, which they often do. So don't take the first buy channel, wait for the second one. See that first one here whipsaw, up, down, whipsaw, red candle, green, whipsaw, and gray candle, sell channel, new buy channel. Be willing to take that second buy channel there. There it is. 44.02 half shoots right up to 44.08 for 3-point gain. That's why we take 3 points. We want out of the markets with our gain. Normally they're going to happen relatively quickly, usually within 10 to 20 minutes of entering. My record for a boomerang trade is 7 seconds from entry to fill. A lot of 20-seconders, 30 seconds I remember over the months and years. 7 seconds a record, normal time 10 to 20 minutes. Usually after that, it's all right if you're still in the trade, but getting a little long in the tooth if you're still waiting much after 20 minutes, especially 30 minutes. But follow the rules. Here's level 1. Here's a level 2 that fails. You see that? It's got the black dots on it and everything. Here's a buy channel, pullback signal line, everything matching color, and up they go. Here's a market moving lower, a sell channel. The spread here is 1050 to 1150. It's within 1 point. So according to the rules, you can trade this pullback, the signal line right here at 44.08, shoots up to 44.12. 4 points. It was scary. It was a whipsaw 4-point move, but you're still short, and then down they come. Classic case here of a bearish market. The problem with this trade, of course, is that you're right into the close. So this is not going to be a valid trade. This is right in the close. But just for educational purposes, you can see the chart pattern. Failure buy, counter sell, and down they go. You wouldn't have taken that trade. That's right into the exact minutes of the Dow closing. And just getting hammered on Globex, a ramp up into Globex, further lower move. Here comes the most radical day we've seen in many, many years. This was Friday, the 21st. August 21st. A day to go down in history. Here's the start of it right here on Boomerang. Pre-market right here. This is a West Coast chart, so we don't see the market opening down. A huge gap up, or gap down, right into the opening here. Further slaughter. But look at Boomerang. Even though the market's getting slaughtered right off the open, just pay attention to the rules. Here's the dynamic trend bands crossing over right. The whipsaw is real light here. It's real tame. Here's the crossover. Here's the buy channel. Here's the pullback signal line. There's your 3 points. Here's a failure sell, a counter sell channel that fails. You got to see the arrow print and then your permission to go long again on a second level. Here's the new buy channel, the pullback signal line. Up they go. See that? Pretty cool, huh? 2 winning trades on the buy side after a smash on the early opening. Nothing here. Here's a dynamic trend band spreading within 1.5 points. You got to see dynamic trend band number 1 change color. And there is your pullback signal line, trade number 3 on the downside. The dynamic trend bands everything's matching. Notice how they're going lower, but they want to move higher. Notice here when the Cobra turns green, matching dynamic trend number 1, as soon as you got that dynamic trend band number 2 matching color in a new buy channel, which occurred way down here, trade that pullback signal line and up they go. The entry was around 29.25, and they ran up to 34.35, 34.75. Same thing. I mean, that's why I love these counter trade. Counter sell channel with the arrow printing. You don't necessarily need the black pullback to the signal line's black dot here. It doesn't hurt if it happens or not, as long as it see you're getting a brand new crossover here. That's going to be a powerful up move. Here's a counter sell channel, new crossover. Forget it. Wait, and if you get a new buy, pull back the signal line, a blue dot. Get ready to get on that blue dot the minute it hits. Boom, up they go. second level trade. There was a third level trade. We don't take those. Here's Boomerang again. Dynamic trend band here crossing over. The spread tightening right in here. There's your pullback, the signal line, and down they go. Because they made a fast swoosh to the downside, you might have tried to get a discount on this price at they were trading around 43.50, so you might have tried to get a jump up to the Cobra or near there, somewhere in there. It's not exact science when you're going live. You know, you could even say, let me get a 1 point better trade price. Whatever, just get them short up in here and down they go. Once again, now this was a reset because notice there was a new buy channel, but there was no buy signal because the dynamic trend band number 2 was bearish. There was a crossover, but you still had the Cobra bearish. Now you're right back here to all the colors matching on the dynamic trend band. So you go short here, 36.5. They drop right down to 30.5, 6-point move. And this was Friday. This was the big heavy hammering day, and they just killed them. Just right into mid-morning. Just an absolute slaughter. Whipsaw coming in here. No trade here. Now this is referring back to, if you remember on the part 1 training, the stacking sequence is whacked out here. Look at it. This is a flat dynamic trend band number 2, which you don't want to trade against those. You got the wide spread on the dynamic trend number 1 and wide spread on number 1 and the Cobra way up here. The stacking sequence is not right. Just stand aside and wait for everything to the best trades when all the DTBs are just crossing over and everything's kind of squished together. Those are the best trades. Just follow the rules. Nothing to do here. Nothing to do here. All of a sudden right here, notice you've got the dynamic trend band squishing together within a 1.5, 4 to 2.5 right here. Go short right at this black diamond or dot or whatever you choose on your charts right here. Go short and down they go. Spread, look at that tight spread there with the dynamic trend band changing by the pullback, the signal line, and up they go. Nothing here, no crossover, nothing close to it. Radical downside move creating a fat channel. Wasn't a trade setup anyway because you don't have the DTBs in sequence. Gotta wait. The whole focus on our trade setups are the dynamic trend bands being in sequence according to the simple rules. Here's a crossover, dynamic trend band number 1, so get ready to be short in this trade. The market flips to the upside in a whipsaw fashion and then shoots to the downside, and it was fury of selling, never gave us a chance to get in on this deal here on this trade. Now it's mid-morning, they're pounding them lower, but once again, Boomerang doesn't care how radical the volume, any of that. They're just watching to see what happens. So here we go. Dynamic trend band number 1 is bullish color. The spread is tight right here by the pullback, the signal line at 76.75, and they run up to 84.25. Second level, same thing. You see how these repeat over and over? A failure after a new crossover, a failure of the sell channel to materialize any change in the dynamic trend band number 1 crossing over or the number 2, and sure enough, new buy channel, pullback signal line, and up they go. Radical move up. It's the same old routine. Isn't it beautiful? That's what I love about Boomerang. It's the same old routine. Spread tightening, dynamic trend band number 1 changing color, pull back the signal line right here at 92.75, and they go down to 84, almost a huge. That was actually, this little move here was huge. 92.5 running 85. It was a 7-point move. Yow. Again, counter buy channel, steep dynamic trend band, not enough to change the dynamic here. New sell channel, but they just smash to the downside before we can get in. You might, on this case here, take some risk with the market getting heavily hammered and try to trade the Cobra, but in most cases you'd probably want to avoid it. But let's see how it panned out. Cobra is at 75.75, and they ran. So it was frightening because you got a 4-point move against you, but if you held, finally panned out. But this is just, this is a third level move. If you try to catch, well, this is second level move. If you had tried to catch this by trading at the Cobra, you would have been successful, but it would have been scary and not generally recommended. I mean, at this point, you got what? We got 4, 5, 6 winning trades in a row, and the markets, I'm guessing, was down 2, 3, 400 points at this point. I'm not sure. Um, Forget it. Just stand aside. You got some money. You made some great money. You got your paycheck, whether it's a radical whipsaw day or whatever, or a nice, smooth, flowing day where you get 8 to 10 boomerang trades. If you get 5 or 6 winners in a row, for God's sakes, take your paycheck and go do something else. Forget trading. You don't want to live your life all about trading. It'll burn you out. Here's a crossover, buy channel, everything matching, pullback sig line, 3 points. Up they go. Get really, really good at following the exact method, taking 3 points, taking that paycheck home. Here's, again, a second level channel that failed, a new buy channel, pullback sig line, up they go. I'm going to speed up as we come into the close of this video here. Crossover, sell channel, pullback sig line, down they go. Another 3 points. Again, change of a crossover here. We get the match right here in the colors of everything. Too radical. Shooting straight up, no trade. Crossover here. Here's the tightening, 1.5 spread. Here's your black. Pull back to the sig line here on the diamond, and down they go for 3 points. Classic failure of a counter buy channel that fails. Keep your eyes ready to trade that next black dot. Sell channel, black dot, down they go. Here's a crossover that resets the pattern. This isn't necessarily a buy trade here. It's a cautionary. They're whipsawing a little, but it looks pretty stable. But again, you know, the market at this point is probably down about 400 points. Do you really want to buy them? Well, if you decided you're just going to follow Boomerang no matter what, and you saw the crossover and you bought them here, yeah, you're going to get stopped out. 49 came down to 40. You're going to get stopped out. Why would you buy when the market's down 4? Anyway, but that wasn't actually a genuine trade because of the stacking sequence. Once again, when we got to the pullback, look at the stacking sequence. It's just too much air between all these lines. You want them like this. You want that kind of stacking sequence. But anyway, say it was a stop out. So what? Who cares? Final hour, no more trading. And here's the final insult coming into the final hour of trading. The final insult on the Dow. Just getting obliterated into the close here. And the market ends on a very sullen note for the day. This is all last hour trading. We don't usually trade just to follow. Okay, the most volatile day in history over the last 7 years. Let's pretend we're trading the last hour on Boomerang, okay? Just to see how it went, okay? Okay, so here's 12:15 coming into here. Here's a Boomerang setup. Tight spread here. Pull back a sig line. Up they go for 3 points. No work here. Crossover here. The first match is right here. No trade here. Cobra crosses over dynamic trend number 2 as it flattens out. Here's a spread here. Let's see what the spread is on this last pullback to sig line right here. We go down, we see 8.5, 7.5. So actually, right in here, you quickly jump over and measure the spread. You could have bought this pullback to sig line right here. It would have been a genuine trade, and they shot straight up. I mean, I'm just showing you the last hour, even though we wouldn't trade the last hour normally. Here's the spread, same thing, tight spread. I'm just showing you how the most radical day in many, many years. Here's Boomerang in the last hour, which you don't trade even on normal days, and look how accurate it is. Here's a tight spread, pullback sig line, and down they go. That's at 5 minutes to the close of the New York Stock Exchange. Look at this. Counter buy signal that fails, right? They're getting crazy now. counter buy signal that fails. We wouldn't be trading these normally anyway. Here's a pullback to the signal line at 6:42.06 half. Ran 10 half, still held the stop, and down they came. Amazing. Now it's markets close here in the Dow. This is all final 15 minutes future. Whipsaw here, obviously nothing to do. Falling off into Globex. And this is what, if you're watching this recording recently, you understand what I'm saying. If you're watching it a few months from now, but well, you still understand. But here's the market close. Here's Globex. And here's what all of us traders, especially if you got a portfolio that just got slaughtered from that radical, here's what we got to face tomorrow. Further mad sell-off on the Globex here as worldwide panic as people just start dumping stocks in their portfolio. I'm looking at this the night before. It's about 8 hours before the market opens, and I'm looking at this going, wow, unbelievable. Where are the buyers ever going to come in? Anyway, that ends our session for today. I wanted to go over all the trades. I used part 2 to cover the 4 or 5 last most volatile trades in history, showing you how reliable Boomerang is even in those radical sessions. So I hope you appreciate my efforts there. I want to make sure you fully understand how to trade with Boomerang. Don't wing it. Be mature adult and learn the rules. Be patient. Be willing to work hard. It's so often we get a little neurotic in trading. We all just want it to be easy. So we want to just grab a system and push buttons and make money. And if we don't, then, oh, that system's no good. Let me try the next one. You got to be a little bit mature and realize this is hard work. You're going up against the top professionals in the industry, literally killer traders, and you want to be one of them. You got to get over that old style and get into learning Boomerang, following the rules, and you'll do very, very well. We assure you that you will do very well with Boomerang if you follow the rules, because it produces 80 to 90% steady winning trades. So thanks again for joining with us, and always feel free to email me if you have any questions at mohan@daytradersaction.com. Thank you again very much.